movie footage used on the podcast is used for fair use. Nightmare Talkers makes no claim or ownership and only uses the footage for commentary and entertainment purposes. Please support the film and the art of filmmaking by watching Spiral on home media or whatever you can watch the movie. Enjoy the episode. Okay, we're good. What is up, my gamers or people, random people? You know, whatever. I'm really bad at these, okay? Shut up. Anyways, hi. It is Nightmare Talkers with your host, Smiley. And I have a guest today, and his name is Explosive. If you want to introduce yourself.
What's going on, guys? I'm in the Friendly Neighborhood Explosive. Today, we're going to be doing a podcast with our good friend Smiley. I hope you're having a good day because I'm having a great one. Take it away, Smiley.
What the
What?
Oh my god. It's just right off the bat. Oh, I
You
forgot.
gotta know. You gotta perform.
Yeah, I also forgot that my keyboard lights up more when I talk, and so I'm not just staring at my keyboard lighting up.
Oh. Well, my mic also lights up when I talk, and I've been addicted to staring at it, so we're pretty
Just,
on the same boat.
Anyways, so
Bing
yes,
bong.
Bing bong. Good life. Anyways, so yes, this is Explosive.
Howdy.
He is a good friend of mine. He
I wouldn't say
wanted
that.
Hey, listen here. I don't have many friends, okay? Screw you.
And I'm one of them. I'm just not a good one. Took us 3 months to organize this, and I kept saying yeah every time.
Yeah, and I would say, yeah, let's do this, and I would text him like, hey, are you ready? Silence. And so, yeah, if you hear noises in the background, Explosive has a special person over, so there you go.
It's because I'm cool. I can definitely touch grass sometimes.
Grass touch, feel good. Anyways,
Absolutely.
Anyways,
You ever just step outside and feel the gravel in between your toes?
no.
No.
And I love
You
how
should
my
try it.
camera on, and it just like my roommate just like walked by the camera. Perfect.
That's okay.
Yeah. Anyways, so yes, so today we're going to be talking about the movie Spiral of the Book of Saw.
And you almost that was a good skill check you passed.
from the Book of Saw. Anyways, but before we get started, Explosive, you kind of want to introduce yourself in a normal way. I kind of just go over a few questions with some people here, and one of the questions is, how's it going? One of the questions is, so what got you into horror movies?
Yeah, well, if we're doing a proper introduction, hello everybody. My name is Explosive. I'm your friendly neighborhood explosive. No, I did not take that from Spider-Man. Shut up.
There goes
Yeah,
Marvel
and
lawsuit again.
so what got me into horror actually was whenever I was 7, and Friday the 13th from 2009. I know it's not the best one, but I was chilling on the couch and it just started playing on cable TV. You guys remember that? You know, all you unks out there remember that one.
Hey, hold on. Whoa.
But yeah, no, I
don't
was
be
just
yelling at my making fun of my editor now. He's older than me. It's Robin, by the way. That's the editor of this
hell yeah.
beautiful podcast. So say hi to
But
Robin.
hello, Robin. Thank you for editing this.
Robin, say hi. Okay, he did. All right.
All right,
continue.
nice. We're gonna give him a tip for that little shout out.
That's what she said.
Anyways, yeah, no, I was just chilling on the couch. While my mother and aunt were freaking out, it was the day I realized I'm a sociopath because I was 7 years old watching that while they were cowering in fear behind me, and that was my introduction to horror and my favorite genre, slashers.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Slashers. So you're just like me.
Yep. Cut, cut, cut. Stab, stab, stab.
Yeah, cut, stab, stab, stab. Anyways, and so okay, so the Friday the 13th, the remake, which it's not that bad of a movie. It's a pretty solid movie comparatively to Jason Goes to Hell.
He put someone's face into a tree and it left a smiley face.
That's not that wasn't Fred. That wasn't the remake.
Yeah, it was.
No, it
Because
wasn't.
it was also the same movie where he like did the Hulk smash thing where you slam left and right with someone in a sleeping bag.
Dog, you're talking about you're talking about um part 5 or part 6. There's a part 5 or part 6 is when he comes
Oh
back to life for being stabbed in the heart.
no, because it was the same one that we watched him go on the ground and we seen his mom's like corpse. Kill for Mother Jason.
Okay, because part 5 is the one where he throws someone across the thing while they're playing paintball and smashes their face in a tree and it turns out to be a smiley face.
Oh.
That's not in the remake.
Hmm. Well, it was a memorable kill nonetheless.
And then the Hulk smash with the sleeping bag is in 2 of those movies. One of them is part 6, where he picks up a girl in the sleeping bag and slams her against a tree one time. Fun fact: she was supposed to
Oh yeah, no, that was part 6. The remake had the one with the sleeping bag dangling over fire, and that was in the intro
Yeah,
scene.
yeah. So in um, part 6, it was actually he was supposed to smash her against a tree several times, but the MPAA said it was too much. So they only did
Always
it
taking
once.
away our rights.
But But in Jason X, they continue. He did that one where he picked up one of the girls in the sleeping bag, shoved the other one inside the sleeping bag, the virtual reality, and just kept smashing the other one inside the bag with the other bag.
I liked whenever it was Jason in New York and he just kicked the boombox. Like no regard for anyone else, just turn it off and just kept walking.
True. Anyways, so okay, so what is your favorite horror movie?
I gotta say, the original Scream.
The original Scream. You know,
I idolized Billy Loomis.
we actually had that as a podcast episode, but then fucking so there goes the swear counter. Anyways, the who is it? Who are the people who own the rights? Not Radio Silence, the other people. Um,
Um, it's not Lionsgate. It
no, it
is
starts with a
no
D.
Bloomhouse is new.
It starts with a D.
Digital Circus.
No, oh my god. Anyways, Robin will put thing on here to say the name of it. But anyways, they, for being founded by Harvey Weinstein and his brother, they decided to take the moral high ground and basically told me if I didn't take down that video that this channel would have a copyright strike on it.
Oh.
So
Yeah, that usually happens if you have more than like 15 minutes of like footage.
yeah, so I had to take that video down because they were gonna copyright strike the channel, and so I was like, well, there we go. That took forever for people to do, but screw me, right? Anyways, so so yeah, so now today we are talking about Spiral, and kind of before we go into the movie itself, we kind of give like a short synopsis of what we liked about the movie, what we didn't like about the movie, and then we go into details, and then we'll say it again with more details on the movie, if that makes sense.
Mm. Something I didn't like was for a Saw film, or at least inspired by Saw, and had like all these references. The kills, some of the kills were not that great, and a lot of the traps could be evaded really easily.
Yeah, I feel like.
However,
Go ahead.
oh, you can continue. Your turn.
No, thank you. Anyways, I keep shaking my desk. Anyways, so yeah, I feel like with the traps could have been evaded a lot easier, but what it's a guy who's never been like a guy. It's kind of spoiler, but whatever. We're gonna spoil the whole movie. He's never been like an apprentice of Jigsaw at all. You know, he was
Yeah, no, that
never
makes sense.
he was never an apprentice of Jigsaw, and so he didn't really. He did really good with um with what he had, right? So, anyways, so kind of start out the movie explosive. You want to kind of want to start the movie, start
We didn't
explaining the
go to
movie.
what we did like. Don't jump the
I
sharks.
said what I liked about it is because it showed the guy didn't have anything with John Kramer, but he still came up with some creative things to kill people with.
That's fair. Meanwhile, the gore was pretty spectacular. They went back to minimum CG, and so a lot of it being practical looked amazing, personally. And I did like that there were some funny moments. It wasn't Cult of Chucky, like, oh, ha, stab, one liner. No, it was pretty good, actually. And like, it was a subtle blend because it wasn't completely in your face the entire time like the second half of Saw, which became a soap opera for some reason, but it was still good and well put together.
Yeah. I'm just now realizing every single time you talk your Discord avatar, the ears move.
Meow.
No, no, no. Don't ever do that again. Jeez.
It's great.
In the name
Don't
of the
disrespect
Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Father, the Son, and the kitty cat.
Oh my
Rawr.
God. See, you can't like go like meow, and then you have a picture of fucking Shadow the Hedgehog. That's your profile picture.
I'm Shadow and the cat. I'm the ultimate kitty force.
Oh. Anyways, so yeah, so now let's begin the Gem movie. By the way, so for warning you people, there are some flashing lights and different things, and there also will be random jump scares throughout this video. We won't know where it's at.
Okay.
Maybe it's right now. You just don't know. As I'm slowly scooting my thing up to the mic.
Oh no. Oh, God. I almost made the swear counter go up. I almost made the swear counter go up.
Well, it's just my swear counter because what I am doing for people that are just now listening is for the first time, and for you, for this is your first time. Every single time I say a swear word, I have a swear counter on screen, and I pay $10 per swear word at the end of the year. So at the end of 2025, however many swear words I said, that's $10 going towards a charity.
Which charity?
Still haven't decided yet. We're just almost in, oh my God, we're almost in April. Anyways, all right. If you want to start the movie out, if you want to kind of start talking about it, and then I will pause and kind of talk about those scenes and the behind the scenes stuff and what we liked about those particular scenes.
So, the movie starts out with kind of a good entrance and good overall theme because there is an officer chasing what he assumes to be a criminal into a funhouse mirror. And then in Jigsaw fashion, he gets oinked back over the head, wake up to the next scene where he is dangling from, what was it, a step stool? And
it was a step stool.
with a screw through his tongue. while he's trying to avoid getting flattened like a pancake to a train.
Yeah, so one thing about that scene, like from the behind the scenes standpoint, what they did is they actually had him, like they did use like an old abandoned subway tunnel, I think, or they made a subway tunnel, and they had him standing on that on a box, and the tongue that they were using, it was a practical effect. What he would do is he would put his mouth over it and hold on to it with his teeth, so it gave it so it looks more realistic, right? And then you also
Pretty cool.
yeah, and also don't forget about the good old pig puppet that pops up, or the pig thing that pops up on the TV screen on the ground.
They did switch out Billy, and that was a choice they made. But then again, he was just a copycat. He was still just a copycat.
Yeah, they used a pig with an AI voice thing, which I feel like that's actually pretty cool. It makes it a little bit harder for the police to determine who it is when when he used AI instead
I
of
did
like.
not
Go ahead.
like the pig. I did not like the pig's voice. Hello there. I want to play a game. Like, dude,
Well,
it.
I don't know. So here's the thing with me about the pig's voice. Was it annoying? Yes, but for what it is in the movie, I think it was a good choice for them to start to use the AI thing, because they already used the trope in one of the other Saw films where Hoffman scrambled his voice to make it sound like John Kramer, even though it was him, right? Make it sound like the John Kramer deep voice
Which
modulator thing.
makes sense because he wouldn't have known what John Kramer sounded like. So how could he
Well,
replicate it?
Well, they know what they know what in the book of Spiral. They know who John Kramer is because he's dead at that point.
Yeah,
And
but
they've
they
all seen the
wouldn't.
tapes. They've seen the tapes and everything. It was in evidence because it wasn't just in that one station. It was a police-wide search for John Kramer. It just so happened that that one station that was featured in the movies was the main one that was doing most of the search. Because in one of the scenes of Spiral, there are saw traps in there that they discovered from other locations,
Like the reverse bear trap.
which is iconic. Chef's kiss.
I love the reverse bear trap. It's like one of the best traps.
Well, it's the most iconic trap in all of Saw. You know, when
It's
people
sad we had to wait 11 movies to see it in action.
not 11, we waited 7.
Was it 7?
It was in Saw the final chapter when Jigsaw's wife gets her mouth broken open with the
I thought
reverse bear trap.
I thought it was Hoffman because
No, Hoffman
le-
was. It was getting ready to happen to Hoffman in the movie.
Oh
before.
yeah, and he put it through the bars.
Yeah, he broke his wrist, pulled out his arms, and then put it through the bars. And he cut his mouth open a little bit, taking his mouth out of it because he was trying to get it off while it was still trying to extend out.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
Haven't
and
seen
so
Saw
then
in a while.
and then he put Jill in the old, because Jill put him in like the new style of reverse bear trap. And not Jill, what's her name? Is that Jill? Yeah. And then
Yeah, it was Joe.
yeah, and then Hoffman put Jill in the old school reverse bear trap where there was no escape from it whatsoever,
Mm,
and killed her. So
tragic.
yeah.
Back to Spiral.
Back to Spiral. Yes, we make random noises here. Anyway, so continue.
You can't say random noise and expect me not to. If we're doing random noises,
Robin's
I
gonna
have
hate
to
us.
go to work. It's okay,
Rob-
Robin. There's a lot you can cut out. I'm sorry I'm goofy. Charge me for it.
That'll be $20 into my Cash App right now. I'm waiting for it. Just kidding.
You'll get it at the end of the stream.
Anyway, so continue with that. So the officer is hanging by his tongue.
He is trying desperately to rip it out, as most Saw victims try to do. He does, in fact, actually get it out, but it is not in time before the train, railroads him, pun intended.
Yeah. And again, that scene was also practical ish. It was a little bit of CGI with practical effects. Um,
Well, yeah, they can't
because
hit someone with a train.
well, they used the dummy that was filled with blood and guts.
Also fair.
They did like a plastered mold of him and put it on there, but they didn't use like an actual train. They just used one that they had, I guess, and ran him over with it.
Yes, they had a full-sized public transport train in their back pocket.
Dude, you would be surprised what these studios can actually pull out of their back pocket.
Honestly, yeah, Blumhouse built an entire cornfield.
Yeah, so they have the money and they have the power. So I mean, and then again, that one was all practical. One of the coolest things was like the scene where the lights started flickering in the movie. In that part when the train was coming and everything was started shaking. The shaking part was CGI, but the lights flickering, they had an electrical system set up inside that area and was making a bunch of train noises inside there to make it sound a lot realistic with the lights started flickering in there. So
Honestly, pretty sick. After that
anyways,
scene, we cut in Jigsaw fashion. I don't remember if we got a little laugh or not. No, we did not get a little laugh because it's not Billy. Um, yeah, no, it cuts to Chris Rock with actually 21 Savage did the soundtrack to Spiral, and it was an entire album, which honestly pretty impressive. But we cut to Chris Rock, and he is going around with these gang members and pretty much just making jokes as he's going, and they're setting up for what was it, a robbery? Yeah, no, they were
I
setting up
think
for a robbery.
yeah, it was a robbery, and also another fun fact. So during the writing of it, Chris Rock was heavily involved with writing the movie. Right? He told the people who was writing the scripts, don't put any jokes in there. I'll do the jokes. So all the jokes
Awesome.
that he makes are all improv, ad libbed. Like he did all of them himself.
That sounds believable.
Some of the jokes kind of didn't hit that well, but then a lot of them did hit pretty good.
I don't know, like the Forrest Gump joke. That one kind of tickled me. Like a
Yeah.
little tummy tickle.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. Like who is nicer than Forrest Gump?
True.
But
Anyways,
he was going with them. They were raiding a house, and he was screaming, like, give me this, give me that, give me everything. And then it cut to him coming out of the elevator where they're getting in a car and they're busted by the police who didn't know Chris Rock was infiltrating this group. And that made him a little upset because his cover was blown on an investigation he's been doing for months.
yeah. And you got a little bit of a beating. But also explosive. Do you know what else they pulled out from that house when they were robbing it?
What else did they pull out from the house as they were robbing it?
Whoa! They pulled out today's sponsor, Dubby.
Dubby?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Tell me about Dubby.
It's explosive. I'm so done with you.
I want to know, is Dubby a good service?
Dubby is a gamer energy drink. It's a powdered energy drink. So it's a lot cheaper than the other people's. It's a lot better for you. Zero sugar. They have fully caffeinated and zero caffeinated. 300 milligrams of caffeine. They also have stuff in cans and sweatshirts and other kinds of merch as well. And today, for our podcast listeners, if you go to w.gg and on checkout, you use the promo code Nightmare Talker. Again, w.gg, use promo code Nightmare Talker. You get 10% off your order.
Honestly, this sounds great. I'm gonna have to try it out. I'm probably gonna leave a good review.
Anyways. Oh, Lord. This is going to be a long episode, isn't it?
Probably. You could write a lot of sponsors before dusk. You
Oh
guys will
my
know what that means
god.
later.
Oh my god. Anyways, so I'll take it up from there. They get back to the station, and he's pretty pissed off about the whole ordeal going down, and then he gets a new partner. Um,
Yes, typical buddy cop. You're a rogue. You're doing too much. That's why we're assigning you with a new rookie. I don't want a rookie, Chief. Too bad. You're getting a rookie.
I forgot what was the name of the rookie.
I don't
Anyways,
remember.
I don't remember it either. But
He
anyways,
was an important character, kind of, a little bit,
we'll
somewhat.
we'll figure it out later. Anyways, and then they get the call to go to the train station um, to find the body of that officer there, because they find the tongue hanging up on that screw thing, and then they find the rest of the body just kind of scattered throughout the place.
The limbs were everywhere.
Yeah, and
Limb
then
from limb.
they kind of mentioned something about Jigsaw, but then they were like, well, it couldn't have been him because he's dead, right? And they haven't had a whole lot of Jigsaw killings in a while. So it kind of shows that after he died, the apprentices didn't really do a whole lot after that, or they'd done a lot in secret that no one knew about it, right?
Fair.
So because they said it's been a while since Jigsaw attacked anyone in the city.
See,
And
in that scene, we actually get a flash of Jigsaw being dead, and that actually was played by Tobin Bell.
yeah, and they also have a picture of Jigsaw like throughout the movie as well. A few pictures of John Kramer. Um, and so then they get back to the station, and they get back there, and then Chris Rock gets a mysterious flash drive.
Well, it was a package. They thought it was a bomb threat.
No. He just gets a package. They didn't know it was anything, and then he opens it up. No, because the tongue wasn't there. Because the killer took the tongue, and then he opened up the package, and the tongue was there with the flash drive inside of it.
And there was also a note. I can't remember what the note said right now, but it was something about spreading lies.
Yeah, like speak no evil or something like that.
And Chris Rock, being the funny, funny man he is, instead of plugging it into his computer, he plugs it into his rookie computer. I
He's
don't
like-
want a virus.
It's still on the same server. It's like, yes, we'll just plug it into this other computer, and that's where you get introduced to the pig. I forgot the name of it. Oh, no, you don't get introduced to the pig yet. Oh no, he gets the flash drive because he hasn't gotten the tongue yet. He gets the flash drive, plugs it in, and he gets an image of a spiral that's painted on a wall. And Chris Rock recognizes the area, and so he goes over there and finds that blue package with the tongue inside the package with that note.
You're right. Wrong series of orders on my part.
That's fine. It's fine. I've messed it up. So here on this good old podcast, we don't exactly tell the movie straightforward all the time. We mix things up. We turn things around topsy-turvy because we want you, the listener or viewer or whatever, to watch it on whatever legal media platform you can, if that's home media or wherever streaming services have it. So
And remember, if you're checking out at W, use the code Nightmare Talkers for 50% off your first order.
it's not 50% off, it's 10% off every order.
10.50. They're pretty close. You're pretty much saving money. That's what's important.
Oh my gosh.
Robin, you can cut that out too.
Keep it in.
Nah,
Keep it in.
I dropped my phone.
Keep it in. Anyways, so so they find the spiral, they find the tongue, and then they start to realize, okay, this might be a copycat of John Kramer.
think the next scene is where Chris Rock goes home, which is pretty rare in the Saw series that we actually follow a character to their average life. But then again, we're not following victims; we're following someone investigating.
Yeah, it's a straight up. Because like you have in the other Saw movies, you have the cop plot and then like the victim's plot. But in this one, it's just nothing but the cop plot because it's following Chris Rock everywhere. Besides the scenes of the victims being killed, it's Chris Rock the entire time.
And as we follow Chris Rock home, you'll never guess who's there. Sam L. Jackson. How is he here? And it's I don't know, but it was a funnier scene. And he's like, "You can't just bust into your house like that. I could have killed you." He said, "What do you mean? It's my house." And he pulls out a gun. I could have killed you.
And it turns out like his dad was like one of the people back in the day.
Police chief.
While he was the police chief, he was not only the police chief, and here's the other thing too: the cops in his area, his cops in his precinct, don't like him whatsoever. Shiny light.
Oh yeah, no, they don't like Chris Rock
Because he
he
turned
ratted
in a
out
dirty cop.
another cop. Yeah.
He turned into a dirty cop because that cop killed an unarmed man because that person, that witness, was gonna rat out another cop.
Yeah, he was going to
For-
testify in court. Also, can we pause for a moment and talk about how they tried to de-age Chris Rock?
Oh
They gave him a hat and like a very messed up mustache, and it was just like, oh, yep, this is Chris Rock when he was younger.
They did the same thing to Sam Jackson too, though.
Detective Tap, that's what his name was, Detective Tap.
Well, no, Sam Jackson wasn't Detective Tap.
Oh no, he was police chief. Chris Rock was Detective Tap.
No, Detective Tap died in the first movie.
It was Detective Zeke.
There
Zeke
you
Banks.
go.
Sorry, I like Saw. My brain just mixes them up. The soap opera gets so confusing if you're not paying attention to every tiny detail.
Well, also like the first 7 Saw movies are basically just like, I know like especially the last 3 movies, they all like canonically happen like within a week, canonically.
That's insane.
Yeah.
They set up so many traps in a week,
Well, it's the
especially
same.
Amanda Kramer's.
Yeah. So it's all within a week, and the same thing with I think was it Saw 3 and Saw 4. Those happen within a single day. The events of Saw 3 and 4 happen in a single day. And so anyways, yeah, he gets to his house and there's good old Sam Jackson and he's talking about when he was police chief, he was one of the people working on the Jigsaw case. And he was trying to give him some advice, but Zeke was just like, I don't want to talk to you, blah, 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 basically,
Yeah, pretty
Hey.
much. Don't dig too deep into it. You're just gonna run yourself in circles.
Yeah. You're going to run yourself into a spiral.
Oh, that's the reference to the movie. He said the name.
He said it!
Anyways, and then it cuts to another kill. If you want to take it over from there, good old sir.
What was the next kill?
Dude gets his fingers pulled off.
Was that the electrocution trap?
Yep.
Ah, yes, the electrocution trap, which they actually had to tone down a lot. But
Oh, I guess it was a
what they-
lot nastier in the uncut version. Oh, dude,
yeah,
it's insane.
but the trap itself was rather simple, but very dark at the same time because he had to bite down on a mechanism that was going to rip his fingers off, and he had to do it before an electric cable touched the water and fried his insides.
Because he shot an innocent person. Yeah.
No, that was a different one. That was a different cop.
That cop also shot an innocent person from he pulled
Oh
him over
yeah, in the
and
car.
he shot him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shot him in the car. This
Oh yeah, because
movie is
the puppet,
really, yeah, the movie is really anti-cop.
which the puppet was saying, "You use your hands to claim an innocent lives. We're taking off your fingers so you can never do it again."
Yeah.
Which the trap itself, I've been thinking about this. The trap itself, he should have survived. Like he could have very easily survived it because while feeling the pain, you're really gonna tell me you don't clench your jaw while feeling pain. That should have been not that bad.
Well, it depends on the person. Because yes, a lot of people they clench their jaw, but also he's screaming in pain too.
Also true.
And then he still could have lost his fingers after he died as well because you get shocked, all your muscles lock up, and which include the muscles that control the jaw, and so he's locked in, and it just rips off all of his fingers because I think they found him without his fingers.
Yeah, he did. He did almost get it done. Like his fingers were mostly torn, and then he didn't make it in time, which also got me thinking. He was in the middle of a pool, so even then, after he got his fingers off, he would need to get out still.
Well, no, he was just in a tub.
Pretty good tub, pretty big tub.
Yeah, he could have. Well, he could have stood up and got out, but he couldn't do it with his fingers attached to the mechanism.
Also fair.
Because the vice, even though it was simple in its design, it was a pretty complex piece of machinery because of the fact that he couldn't stand up and get out until his fingers got off, like got torn off.
You know, I'd be pretty mad if my fingers got torn off.
Yeah, I think everyone would be.
I don't know. Some people would be happy with their fingers torn off. Don't ask me who, but I feel like there'd be at least one person happy without their fingers. Somewhere.
But the women in their life wouldn't be happy.
God damn.
Shut up. You can't just say that.
What? They call me Nubby.
They don't. They wouldn't call you Nubby.
Oh,
I'm trying to think of a name that starts with F so I can involve fingers. Hold on. Wait. I did not mean Fingerless Frank. That's what we can go with.
Fubby.
You can't just say Fubby.
I wonder if the girl in the background in your place is wondering what the hell we're talking about at this point.
I mean, we can ask. Are you understanding any context? Okay.
She's just like, I just hear you saying Fubby.
Have you seen Spiral? We're watching Spiral later.
Dope. Here's another thing that was also the back to the movie. That was also practical effects as well with the fingers. They just had like the hands off, like it was like hands locked onto a thing and filled with fake blood and things like that, and slowly pulling the fingers off.
Still was very, very gruesome to look at. Like, your fingers, you watch the muscles tear, and then it's the skin, and then the muscles, and then you watch the bone slightly expose, and then he doesn't make it.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing with like the hardest part would have been the bone parts to come off.
I would feel like all the flesh would have been taken off first because gripping the bone would take an excruciating amount of force.
Well, did you see how it was made? That
a little bit.
it shrunk down as it was pulling.
Ah, yes, the Chinese finger trap.
Yeah, and so it kept shrinking down, and so it would have gotten to the bone at that point and ripped out the bone. And the thing is, it's like your fingers, there's a bunch of little bones in your hand surrounding the finger.
Honestly,
and so it would pull
he
it
had
out of
so
its
much wiggle room.
socket. It would have pulled out of its socket.
He had so much wiggle room though. Like if he could have moved outside the tub but then he would just be stuck there.
Yeah. No, he couldn't move out of the tub because the thing he had on his head wouldn't release until his fingers got ripped off.
True.
He was locked
but he
in the
could have waited
tub.
to be saved.
The water was filling up.
Oh yeah, the cord wasn't lowering. The water was filling up.
Yeah, it was filling up and it was going to hit the cord once it got full enough to where it would shock him to death.
I'd be most upset that the water is cold. Not gonna lie to you, because I know he did not keep that at an even temperature. It was definitely cold.
Just
The water
ice.
bill.
The whole thing. You would be mad if your fingers got ripped off or you're about to get electrocuted to death. God damn it! It's cold.
Exactly.
cold
Like,
water.
why is it so cold? Get it out. You could have at least turned up the temperature. Jigsaw. Put it in the heated pool.
Our pig mask at that one. I forgot the name of the actual thing.
Yeah, no, the little piggy made him squeal.
Yeah. Anyways, and then they get another. I think they get another package, and this time like the bomb squad showed up and everyone was just like taking a lot of caution with it, and then they opened up and they found a finger inside the inside the box with
They had 10 fingers and they only sent one. That's just wasteful.
what are you gonna do with the other ones?
I put him in the box. He paid for shipping. Ship all 10.
Jesus. Anyways, then that flash drive had the video of the pig pointing towards a truck underneath a bridge with the spiral symbol on there, and so they all, skedaddle out there, and then Chris Rock goes out there. Detective Zeke goes out there, and he opens up the door to the truck that's down there, and a dead pig falls out. And
Oink.
so, and obviously, again, this movie, it talks a lot about police brutality and stuff like that, and then like the Saw series kind of touched up on that a lot with police brutality and them trying to get their way on lots of things.
That was it came out 2018, I want to say.
Yeah, but I know Saw 2 really pushed that narrative on police brutality.
It was 2021. So it was during the entire,
George
pretty
Floyd
much,
thing.
it was more than that. It was like an entire pandemic where a lot of police brutality was being exposed.
Yeah, and so it was during that time, and that's why a lot of the use of the pig is a lot because like Jigsaw, John Kramer used the pig because in the Chinese New Year, the pig symbolizes rebirth.
Oh, yeah, that was a big point.
Yeah, but in this movie, they're using a pig as like the thing that people call cops.
And they used the spiral that was on the wall.
Yeah.
Zeke's buddy cop, who really isn't shown much. Detective Shank, that's what it was.
Shank.
That's what his name is. We got it. We got him, boys. But no, he was like the spiral means new beginnings, which I don't know what that means. A spiral is infinite, but whatever. That's cool. It totally makes sense to Shank, but yeah, no, they
suspicious. Why it only means that way to Shank.
And I think it was after that scene that Zeke went to go see his ex-wife.
No, so after that scene, they go back to the station because they found a footage inside the truck, and it turns out that was the truck that the guy got shot in by the police officer. And they showed the dash cam footage of the cop shooting the guy inside the truck, because the guy turned off his body cam, but he didn't turn off the webcam or the dash cam inside the truck, inside the police cruiser.
Which is truly a tragedy, because How you forget to turn off the camera? It's just as bad as forgetting to turn it on.
Yeah, that's the tragedy here, not the guy getting shot.
I mean, I would like to compare it to you're shooting a video at a skate park and this guy does this amazing trick, but the camera's facing you the entire time.
I've done that several times, unfortunately.
I bet you have, Unc.
You listen here, you mother. We're about to fight.
Let's go. Let's go. Robin, cut the black. Just show just show a little anime fighting scene, like 30 seconds of one.
And obviously showing me as the victor.
Oh, what? No,
I'm
just
I'm
like
Escanor and whoever Escanor's fighting.
just do like a Michael Bay kind of like ending, like Naruto Sasuke running at each other, and they just cut the black and Michael Bay.
What I've done.
You can only play 4 seconds of that song. Just what I've, and then cut back to the podcast.
Jesus. Robin, I'm sorry we're making you do a lot of work today. Do apologize.
I love you, Robin.
Explosive said before we started recording, man, I'm going to make Robin actually work today. Because fuck
Yeah.
Robin. That's 3.
I did.
I got to stop swearing.
Put it in the jar.
Put it in the bag. Anyways,
Your pants. Put it in the bag.
it's probably not the first time you said that.
That's what she said.
Listen. Why would they put pants in a bag? Wait. Why a bag?
Military.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah, no, there's this thing called a sea bag that you literally put all your clothes in, and then you have to walk it like 2 miles. They call it the Hell March because right after they shove a big syringe of, I forgot what it's called, but they stab
Penicillin.
you in the, they stab you in the butt with penicillin. Then they make
The
you
peanut butter
march
shot.
immediately after. That was hell because some people didn't even show up because they had to go to medical immediately, and so here I am, scrawny little me carrying 2 sea bags with someone else's clothes in, boots included.
With the peanut butter shot in your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun times. So yes, pants, put them in the bag. Anyways, so back to the movie before we get too off the rails here.
Robbie, you can cut all that.
No, he's leaving it in. It's called entertainment value.
Yes.
Yes, entertainment. Give me glorious likes and follows and watches and listens and comments, glorious comments, not inappropriate comments. Explosive.
Use Nightmare Talkers as a code on W, 10% off.
God. Anyways, so it cuts back to they're back at the police station and it's late and they're still going over the stuff for they're still going over everything that's happening there at the station and kind of studying the case. And that's when Shank talks about the spiral being like a new beginning thing, and they kind of go over different things. And then Chris Rock talks more about the guy he turned in. Because it turns out he actually has to talk to the guy.
That's when they go to the church.
Yeah, they have to go to the church because he has to talk to the guy because the cop that he turned in was one of the cops on the John Kramer case back in the day. And so they kind of discuss some things and ask him like, who do you think could be responsible? Who do you think is given the killer the stuff? And he said, well, there's a drug dealer, this random crack house in the street in the place. And so they were like, do we, like, Shank was like, do we need warrants? He's like, I don't need a warrant, which again shows that police are overdoing protocol, because if they go into a place, they have to have a warrant in order to go in to any place if they're not allowed to, right?
Yeah. I forgot. Oh, that's whenever Chris Rock was pretending to be addicted to substances, with like scratching himself in this very bad outfit.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, there was a bucket. Oh, fun fact about that guy. That was Chris Ramsey.
The magician.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Chris Ramsey.
Yeah, he actually got to keep the prosthetic, by the way.
We'll get to the prosthetic after we talk about how they rushed up the stairs while he was pulling the bucket up, counting the cash.
Yeah, and then they break in the door and they start talking to the drug dealer, who is not cooperating. And so then Chris Rock Zeke shoots him in the leg.
He got tackled into the table, which broke his
Oh
leg.
yeah, he got tackled into the table, which broke his leg. And then he was gonna shoot him, because I think he fired his gun once to like warn him, like he will shoot him in the leg or something.
His
And
bone got exposed, and Chris Rock, being the sassy man he is, ad-libbed the entire scene, making jokes the entire time. It's like, "Oh, your leg's not supposed to be like that. Oh, here, let me disinfect it." Pours 40 proof whiskey on his wound.
yeah, and then doesn't he like step on it or push it a little bit? He does other things to it besides pouring the whiskey on there. Like he tortures the guy to get some answers, and then he gives him a location. But yes, Chris Ramsey got invited to be there, and he did some tricks for them. We'll have some images. We'll have some slides up here of him doing images, like not images, magician tricks with the cast and crew. And they let him keep the prosthetic leg, and so he had to convince Canada why, because he got in trouble in customs with it, because they found the prosthetic leg in his checked bags, and so he got pulled by customs and asked why he has a broken leg inside his bag. And so he
Honestly,
had to explain to them why he has a broken leg in a bag.
TSA needs to mind their business while we're talking about the movie of police brutality.
Yeah, but I think that would be pretty funny, because there are a lot of pranks that people do at the TSA lines with other people's bags, and it's just like, I don't know, if I was just a regular TSA agent or whatever, and you saw that, I mean, immediately you didn't know, because of how hyper realistic it looked, right? And so you could have thought that was a real leg.
Honestly, they did a great job on the prosthetics. That even TSA, who won't let me bring anything over 20 ounces through the gate, I lost a pair of scissors that I forgot I had in my backpack because of TSA.
Dog, I had a socket wrench in my bag that I forgot I had, and I had to throw it out.
The one with the 10 millimeter on it.
Yes, it actually did have a 10
I
millimeter
bet it
on
was.
It had,
10 millimeter is like the size of everything.
Well, also it had an extension on it too.
Oh, it could have turned into a breaker bar.
Yeah, basically, and yeah, I was so mad, but I had to throw it out because there was no way I could get it back to whoever, because the person who gave me the ride to the airport left, and so I couldn't give it back to them, so I had to throw it away. And I miss it every day.
Rest in pieces, socket wrench.
Rest in
I know that
pieces.
for a fact that someone took that 10 millimeter home.
Oh, 100%. One of the TSA agents just dug to the trash, like, oh, 10
He
millimeter.
just wanted it. There is nothing that says you can't bring a socket wrench on a plane. Show me the sign.
No, they showed me the sign. It was metal. That's why. Yeah, and it could be used as a weapon. It could be put in the checked bags, but it couldn't be put in the carry-on bags, because it was in my carry-on bag.
I think what's crazy is that you can put a weapon in your checked bag, but it has to be disassembled.
Well, I mean, you can also, so you can take a firearm on a plane as a checked bag, and it doesn't have to be disassembled, but it has to be, like, the clip has to be out, and the one round that's in the firearm itself has to be dislodged, and then you have to put it in. Then you have to have a specific, like they have to make sure it's either biometric unlock or a code lock, so that no one can just go in there and open it up and take the handgun and wreak havoc on the plane.
I could not be an air marshal. That is stressful, especially in a pressurized cabin.
Yeah, just you're in a giant metal tube, miles above the earth.
That's fair.
Anyways,
Back to Spiral.
And so they get a location, and also at this time as well, Zeke's dad starts investigating himself, and he goes to an old recycling factory, and he disappears.
He gets oinked.
Well, we don't see him get oinked. We just see him go, like, it's just, oh no, like we see the pig pop up behind him. He doesn't get we don't see him get grabbed, but we see the pig pop up behind him.
Foreshadowing of an oinking.
The foreshadowing of the oinking. Anyway, so they take that, they go back to the station, and they kind of go over different things, and then Shank leaves for the night.
Zeke goes to no wait we skipped over Zeke going to his ex-wife house and showing their marriage on the rocks.
Oh yeah.
He tells Shank to wait in the car, and he is offended.
Yeah.
It was for his daughter's birthday party,
Yeah.
but he gets denied access to the birthday party
Yep.
because problems.
Yep. And it's because Zeke cheated on her.
Yes, he was talking about that. He said, if you wanted a happy marriage, you shouldn't become a cop. The joke about Pilates. No.
Yeah.
No, Pilates isn't real. That would be one takeaway. Why do you think only single wives go to Pilates?
Why?
You could not catch me doing Pilates.
I beg to differ. I bet you that girl that's in that room will make you do Pilates.
Would you make me do Pilates?
No, that sucks. I've done it before.
You've done Pilates?
I had to in ballet.
This is not looking good for me.
Anyways, and so yes, they go back to the station. Shank leaves, and then Zeke actually calls him while he's at home, and you hear kids and stuff like that in the background, because you also know that he has a wife, and like he says, he has a wife and child at home, and so that's one of the things that Chris Rock said. That was the joke. The Pilates joke came from that. It was when he was talking to Shank about, a cop being married. And so then the next day, there's another wrapped up package. Again, the dogs smell it, make sure it's
We're
not
missing another scene. It was after the call that no, we got to go back, because whenever Samuel Jackson was in the house, he was like, Chris Rock was upset that they barely communicate after living in the same building. And so Samuel Jackson sarcastically was like, bring me takeout. We can have dinner together and talk about the case. So it was that day that Chris Rock went to his dad's house, and he was bringing food just like he asked, but his dad wasn't responding to the door knocks or anything. So he tried to call him. He's like, hey, where are you at? I brought food. Just reach me back when you can. And then we go to the next scene.
Yeah, so the next scene, that's when they find he gets another package, and anyways, gets another package, and he opens up the package, and it's a tattooed piece of flesh, and it turns out it was Shank's flesh. And you kind of cuts to a thing where it shows a cop or a body being carved, because they go to the crime scene and they find like a body that's been skinned,
which actually sent detective into a little psychotic break, because shortly after that, we see him in his car just having a complete mental breakdown, just screaming, slamming, which was a scene that was actually done really well, in my opinion.
Oh, Chris. Oh, see, here's the thing. Like Chris Rock, he's not in a lot of serious movies, right? He's not. He's a comedy guy, and so to see that emotional range that he had in that movie, because he was the one who pushed for Spiral. Like he wanted to do a Saw movie, but he didn't want to do it like a Saw movie, if you know what I'm saying,
I think it
right?
was after that we cut to a flashback of him trying to go chase somebody, and he was asking for backup, and the other cops didn't back him up, which result in him getting shot.
Yeah, and then his dad tore into everyone. It wasn't just because it was his dad; it was also the police chief. At the same time, it was both him being a father and being the police chief. Which
But
also,
more
if you
so
look at
being a father that made him physical.
yeah, because I think he beat the crap out of the cop that was his partner when that happened, and
Yeah,
then
that's why
he
Chris Rock works alone now.
well, that's when he shortly became a detective after that because you know
Because he
because,
can't trust anyone. Shoot him in the back. Because this is when he goes back to the station and he's really mad and is talking about the other cops, how they're corrupt and they don't look after him because of what he did,
yeah.
which was turn in a dirty cop.
Yeah, and they all get mad because of that fact. And one of the things they were saying that he was like the new chief was trying to take him off the case because of the fact his partner got killed.
Yeah.
Saying you're too close to this. He's like, that's why it's perfect for me because this person's reaching out to me about this. And so I need to be the head of this investigation, which pissed off all the other cops. And that's when you went on this thing about how none of you guys have my back. I turned in a dirty cop. That's what we're supposed to do. And went on this whole spiel about it. And then the chief goes downstairs for like to go find evidence. And then she gets yoinked.
Oh, yeah, because they sent Chris Rock on a goose chase to a new location where there was a sign that kind of alerted him. They're going to the chief, and he called the station while racing over there, and no one could find her in any position.
Yeah. And her death was very I feel like that death was very graphic in my opinion.
It would have
Not
been
in
relaxing.
the and not in the sense of physical like in a physical goriness, but in a psychological thing. Because she got yoinked and then she got like a towel put over her head and then she got waterboarded with hot tar, basically. And in order for her to get out of that, she had to sever her spinal cord. And it turns out she helped a lot of corrupt cops out of sticky situations.
Oh, yeah, because this was before Zeke learned about his dad doing the the project to clean up the streets by becoming dirtier.
Yeah. And she was a part of it. And so she had to sever her spinal cord and they showed up when they finally got to her, she just barely died. Because the tar was still hot and everything, and then they tried
And
to
as they
pull
were,
it off, they started peeling off her face.
which really is a tragic way to go because while she was kind of just doing what instructed, she could have stopped it if she really wanted to.
Yeah. She could have stopped it if she wanted to. She didn't, though, and so that's what made it more, difficult. And then
After that, it
Zeke has
was,
another mental breakdown after that as well, because
and
the
so
thing,
he's calling his dad at that point and just
yeah,
like screaming at the phone, "Where are you at? Pick up the phone!" And just trying to find them, like becoming concerned at this point, looking for someone or anything to turn to give him some kind of advice.
yeah, because like here's the thing about Spiral and what it did and why I liked it focused more on the cop side of everything. The show the emotional toll it took on the police officers investigating the case because it took a huge mental toll on Zeke because he started losing people left and right, right? His partner got killed, his chief got killed, his father's missing, other cops are getting killed. And he's the center of it because the killer's taunting him.
I can still hear that voice.
And so, then eventually he leaves, and then he goes back to his dad's place and finds the takeout sitting on the table because he brought it in. He brought it in the first time he went to go talk to his dad, and then he goes in there and he finds it still sitting out on the table, and which makes him suspicious because his dad never leaves food out or anything. And then he sees an address somewhere for something. I think he figures out where the location is because the factory is actually an old hobby factory that him and his dad used to go to when he was a kid. And so he goes to that location and he gets pigged, gets oinked, as the kids say.
And it was a very good scene because it made a callback to the first Saw where he is chained up to a pipe and there is a saw just barely out of the way. And so for a moment, all this tension builds up and you think he's about to cut his leg off just like they did in the first film. But
no, his wrist was it wasn't. He was cuffed to the pipe. It wasn't his leg that was attached. It was his wrist, and he couldn't. And so they were going to show like as if he was going to cut his wrist off, and then he finds like a bobby pin or something, and he gets the cuff off. And during this time, the dirty cop that he turned in is chained up. Is chained up because of what he did, right? And the glass chamber, like the glass recycler, was in that building and started shooting out shards of glass, grounded up shards of glass
The little
at him.
pig puppet was actually telling him to not save him because he was corrupt and did all these things, and that he should not try to help him in any way. But being a good detective and caring about just general life,
And
he
still
grabbed
being
the
a good
trash
cop.
can. Yeah, he grabbed the trash can, ran over, and tried to save him to the best of his ability, getting cut up by glass in the process. And for the rest of the movie, which was a good attention to detail, he had a shard in his cheek.
And he had shards of glass in his arms that you saw him pulling out as he was leaving. Because he couldn't get the dirty cop out. And again, another great use of practical effects because they use actual glass they use candy glass to tear up a fake body.
I think it was rubber.
It was rubber glass, which one of them did hit Chris Rock, and he said it actually did hurt.
Yeah, I believe it. It's rubber being propelled at like a high velocity.
Yeah, and
It had a vector, direction, and magnitude.
Oh my god.
Use code Nightmare Talkers at Dobbs.
at w.gg, if you're gonna do it right, okay. If you're gonna keep doing it, do it right. At w.gg. Use promo code Nightmare Talker. Jesus.
It's a
Anyways,
sponsor. We got a sponsor.
just keep saying the sponsor over and over again. Hey, look, W this, W that, W this, W that.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. Anyways, and so Chris Rock is heading into like the next area because now it's back to like old school style of Saw where he has to follow the arrows to get to a certain area, and that's where he actually finds Detective Shank because Shank's not dead. Shank was the one who was the mastermind behind all of it, and even he said in the beginning when they first became partners that his dad's the reason for all of it, and it was mostly speaking because of the fact it was that cops shot Shank's dad during the time where the cops had to be dirtier to clean up the streets.
We also see his dad being hung up by wires,
don't-
which is draining his blood.
Yeah, and we don't see that quite yet. Shank's like going through his whole like monologue about different things. And
Streets got cleaner because the cops got dirtier. And
Yeah.
we see his little flashback where his kid self is under a table watching his dad get shot. And Zeke actually walked in and inspired him by keeping him hidden. He just walks up to him and says, "Shh," in that younger mustache backwards hat. And so
Well, they
he
did the
kept
same
the
thing
kid quiet.
in one of the Saw movies where they gave John Kramer a backwards hat to make him look younger.
Ah, yes, the backwards hat makes you 50 years younger.
And so then you learn that so also during that whole thing, they're trying to find that they believe is this one homeless guy, this one drug addict that's doing all of this, because of the fact that the perch snatcher was the person. Because the perch snatcher is what happened in the beginning of why that guy was chasing, why the first cop was chasing them down into now where he got killed by the train. And turns out Zeke caught him. It was that guy, but then Shank caught him, and then Shank killed him, and then he skinned the robber. He skinned the perch snatcher, the drug addict, and then he tattooed the name of actually his dad's name onto like the forearm skin that was wrapped around the pig puppet skin that Zeke got, because it was actually a pig puppet that was made out of human skin.
It did show him on his laptop sending these things and playing back fake audio of a baby crying through the mic while he was on the phone with Zeke.
Yeah, it does the good old Jigsaw Discovery thing, because then Shank makes a call to police saying there's an armed gunman, right? And Shank gave Zeke a choice. He's like, either you shoot that target and let me go and I continue what I do, or you shoot me and let your dad bleed to death, because not only does he have like wires like connecting him, he also has stuff in his veins that's slowly dripping out blood, right? And so, go ahead.
It was a pretty good trap he was in, which, you shoot the target, he gets let go, you can save him, and they're on a time limit because now there's gunshots being fired. He has the entire SWAT team about to pull up. He is on a dangerous time crunch.
Yeah. And so Zeke's sitting there, he's trying to decide if he's going to shoot, like let his dad die and shoot Shank so that Shank doesn't get away, or shoot the target, let Shank run off and let his father live, because he's also offered Shank offered Zeke to help him with that, and Zeke was pretending that he was into it, right, to trying to throw Shank off, which didn't work. And so shoots the target, Shank gets away, and then he's sitting there, and
Pause.
what?
He did shoot the target, and after shooting the target, he did tackle Shank and started to beat him on the ground, and that's actually what had him distracted from what was actually happening with his dad as the SWAT team was arriving.
Because the wire was one of the wires, yes, okay, because he was actually puppeteered on the thing, because you don't see the other wires, you just see the tubes
And
coming
then
out.
it
You don't
flashed
see the
back
other
to
wires.
the pig that was at the truck that was holding up a stick towards the camera.
Yeah, and so this is all well thought out. This is like one of the things I did like about them doing this with this character, and I hope they're gonna make like a sequel to it or something like that. More Shank, because Shank is probably the most accomplished Jigsaw copycat out of all of them, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And so he has a wire connected to the door, and the police cut open the door, and they throw the door open, and then a shotgun gets thrown into Samuel Jackson's hand, Zeke's dad's hand, and gets lifted up. And so then the SWAT team opens the door, doesn't say drop your weapon, and just straight up lights them up, because at that point Zeke is trying to tell them to stop, put your weapons down. Shank gets out, but it was too late, and they blow his dad to bits, and he's just sitting there and he's screaming, and that's how the movie ends.
Yeah, no, Marcus Banks, which is Samuel Jackson's character, is pretty much there, like, kind of screaming, trying to get Zeke's attention, and that's when we get the famous Hello Zep playing, because it's the wrap up and you finally understand everything that was plotted towards, everything that was building up to. And while Zeke is trying to scream at the cops, "Don't shoot," Shank slithers away into the elevator. And while they unload on Marcus, um, they also point their gun towards Zeke, who is looking at Shanks get away, pretty much screaming like, "No, he's over there. Go get Shank." But he can't do anything because now he has to keep his hands above his head on the ground, otherwise he will also die.
Yeah, and then and then the movie ends while he's screaming about his dad getting killed. And so that is the Jeb Book of Spiral. There's lots of things that we didn't talk about. Again, we encourage you to go watch it yourselves on whatever streaming platform or home media you can.
At the ending, that's whenever Spiral by 21 Savage kicks in.
True. And so, anyways, alrighty. So, Explosive. Now we can go into more detail. What did you like about it? What you didn't like? And what would you rate it out of 1 out of 5 stabs?
What I liked the most was it was definitely a well thought out build up. Like every piece was put there intentionally, either in the background or straight in your face, which you didn't really understand at the time. Kind of like how John Kramer did it before he died, and Amanda and Hoffman were pretty much doing it. They weren't as thought out or meticulous as John Kramer was. They were more straight to the point, get to the kills. But I think it was Saw 3 whenever I forgot the officer's name.
It was Saw 4.
It was Saw 4 with
and then the
the
officer.
child in the safe.
Yeah. No, that was Saw 2. That was Saw 2.
That was 2.
And it was Donnie Wahlberg is the actor in it.
Yeah, it was pretty much just sit here, have a conversation with me, and we'll find your son. Which he did. He almost made it to the end, and then he got a call on the walkie saying like, "Oh, we found the location." And so he rushed off, went there, actually got oinked and put into a trap on his own. And then near the end, we see his kid was in the safe with an oxygen tank right next to John Kramer the entire time.
Yeah. And then eventually his character gets killed off in Saw 4 because that other cop that's there, the John was trying to tell him like, hey, you don't need to rush into everywhere because you don't know what's happening if you rush everywhere, right? And so, and then he ran in before the time went out because he thought if the time went out they died, but he ran in, he gets shot, the lawyer gets killed, Hoffman quote unquote dies, he doesn't die, and then
one of the most
then the detective
memorable
gets his
traps.
head gets crushed by 2 blocks of ice.
Very gruesome, full practical. It was one of the most memorable trap in it.
Yeah. Anyways, but we're talking about Spiral. So what did you like about it and what you didn't like about Spiral, and rate it 1 through 5
Another
stabs?
thing I liked about Spiral was that it kept continuity throughout the entire film. It was always on track. It was always looking for the next step, always constantly moving without, like normal Saws kind of going here, there, flashback here, flash forward here, skipping through time. I like that it was consistent the entire time and that we had one perspective, one point of view that we were always following. Now, something I didn't like, or some of the traps, they would have been a lot better, a lot more gruesome that they had, which is why I recommend the unrated version, because they were amazing before they got cut for general audiences, which is truly a tragedy. Some of the cops, their motivations, they could have been better, but the voice line deliveries were almost always on top.
There you go. And 1 through 5 stabs?
I'd give it 4 out of 5 stabs.
4 out of 5 stabs. There you go. For me, I did like the kills, and it kept chronologically. Some of the jokes for me, honestly, didn't really sit well, but like some of them didn't really land. I think he was trying to do a little bit too much comedy in the movie. Not saying there wasn't like a lot of it in there, right? But
you're ignoring the Pilates joke.
I'm not ignoring
Pilates.
The Pilates joke is hilarious, and you know. And so I'm not saying that. There's just lots of there were a lot. Also, there were quite a few plot holes in that movie and things like that. But what I did like is that the Shank thing came out of nowhere. Because typically in the Saw movies, you can kind of tell who's like the apprentice or who's the killer, right? Like you can kind of tell who it is from the beginning. And the movie in Spirals, you couldn't tell at all. You had no idea until the end of the movie, which, you know, blew my mind the first time I watched it, right?
You know, watching it the second time only makes it better because then you actually see the pieces being put together.
Yeah, and so, anyways, but there were quite a few plot holes in there, in my opinion, and I'm gonna be slightly more crucial and give it 3 out of 5, and so overall it'd be 3.5 stabs overall for Spiral,
Which is
from the
pretty
Book
on
of
par
Saw.
for Rotten Tomatoes and everything else.
Yeah, and obviously you're also I'm comparing it to now Saw X, which is a fantastic movie that we'll hopefully talk about later if you put it in the comments down below. But yes, also comment down below on your Spotify or on YouTube what movie we should talk about next. It makes you like, follow, subscribe, whatever platform you're on. And Explosive, do you have anything to say to these fine people before we skedaddle?
Use Comer Night Talker for Tim Sell. You know we had to come back to it. It's
Yeah.
the running joke.
It is the running joke. Anything
But
else?
no, yeah, go watch it and watch it twice if you have to. It is a wonderful movie to watch. It is something that's nice but not too, and I think it's going to be a great introduction to horror films because like I said, the gore is turned down, but it's more of a psychological horror, so you're not just, panicking the entire time.
Right. Well, there you go. Well, thank you so much, Explosive, for being on here on this good old episode. Again, Grace has taken some time off, and so you'll hear my sultry voice next time. I don't know who's going to be on with me, but,
Hopefully it won't be 3 months before I come back again.
and then maybe next time we'll have me, you, and Grace on here. So, anyways,
pretty cool.
'cause I don't know if you've ever met Grace.
I have
super
not.
cool. Yeah, she's just taking a little time off, So that's okay, I encourage that stuff. Anyways,
No, it's not. Grind. You die at work like a man.
I'm gonna throw something at you. Robin,
That's
put an
okay.
image of me throwing something at Explosive.
But make it a very bad PNG, just like a hammer without the background taken out.
There you go. Anyways, well, thank you guys so much for listening, watching, all that fun jazz. And as always, be spooky.